Hey YouTube. Well, I want to come here. I had such an interesting day yesterday. So yesterday I went to a theater and watched a movie for 8 hours. All right, so I'm going to talk about When We Rise. This is a like a docudrama. Anyway, it chronicles the lives of three people, one of which I know very well, a friend of mine. His name is Ken Jones. So it chronicles his life, Cleve Jones, who is, I would say, the primary character, or he's the one that wrote the book. Cleve Jones wrote a book called When We Rise, and this drama is based on that book. Okay, and a lesbian woman named Roma Guy. So it's their perspectives, tracing all the way from when they came out, when they discovered San Francisco, and when they got involved in activism. I really enjoyed it. Oh, well, I'll tell you why I know that I really enjoyed this movie, or why you should know it. Is because I went there thinking, well, I'll stay until the break. They had a hour and a half break between this. They showed the whole thing at one time. I said, no, if I come back, this has really got my interest. So not only did I come back, but the theater was overbooked. It was packed for the first part and for the second 4 hours. So most of us spent the entire day there at the Castro Theater. So starts out with this young guy, Ken Jones, who is my friend. He starts out as a Vietnam veteran. He's actually in the service, falls in love, and the person is killed. So I'm not going to give you a lot of spoilers. I don't want anyone to miss the series. It airs starting on Monday, 27th, and it goes for four. There are four episodes, so they're approximately 2 hours on television. There's a little less than that with its premiere because obviously there are no commercials. And then Cleve Jones, he's from where's he from? Seattle. His father is a psychiatrist, and so they go through that experience of him coming out when his father is promotes this therapy, shock treatments, and some of these experiments they were doing to change gay people's minds. So he's up against that for his young life. He leaves, comes to San Francisco, and soon after he gets here, he gets hooked up with Harvey Milk, who is the first gay supervisor in San Francisco, and he is killed. So we go through a lot of history in this series. So there in the theater there were lots of cheers and things because it's so familiar to us. It is part of San Francisco history. I'm not really that familiar with a lot of the things that went on here because they all arrived in San Francisco in the early 70s at the same time that I was arriving in Los Angeles. So there's some real education here for me. I was so happy that this did not end with AIDS. Uh, AIDS is a part of the story. It's a significant part of the story, but this shows the people going into it, into the eye of it, and then coming out on the other side. Because there are deaths in this movie, but it didn't end that way. The primary characters are still alive. They're still alive now. They were all at the theater. So it was good, but it shows us how a lot of the early activism, how it came to being, and getting through that crisis, and also the role that women played in this in the AIDS epidemic. So one's a woman, one's a black gay man, one's a white gay man, and their lives. So they have multiple purposes, but they connect because they're all LGBT people, and through this crisis before it covers a lot of stuff. So I have to try to remember 8 hours of watching this. So there's a good chance that when it does air starting on Monday 17th, I mean 27th, I'll have to go and then speak on the different parts of it because it was long, because I'm watching it all at times, the whole miniseries in one day. But there's a Briggs initiative in the 70s. That was the big civil rights argument of that time for us. Um, but they wanted to stop teachers, people who are homosexual, they couldn't teach the kids. They were saying so they had to fight through that, and then Ken Jones had to fight through also the racism in the gay community, which was his struggle. So he had two. He was a part of two different communities. He was also coming out and realizing that it was a little different for a black man to come out in Castro at that time. So I guess this is in the beginning of the Castro. It was just becoming very popular with gay people, and these guys were all around 20 years old when the thing starts, and it takes all the way through their lives into their 60s. Um, some of the last parts of this thing took place just 2 years ago, so it's up into current times. It was happening to see that these guys did survive and thriving. Okay, so I want to recommend you guys see this movie. It also goes into gay marriage, what that struggle was like. I love the way they portray uh, my hero, which is Barack Obama, who was the first president to actually get involved to the level that he did. I mean, Bill Clinton did what he could do at the time. Barack Obama was a part of why we have gay marriage and why we have equal rights. Someone who actually spoke up for us. So I love that part. I just love that. And I lived through it. Okay, so starts on Monday. You guys watch it. I want to encourage you to watch it. I'm going to watch it again in the series, and I'll probably review each part because there were different movements, different things that went on in each of the four parts. So I'm looking forward to doing that again. But I loved it. It was great, not only because a friend of mine is in it, and I've seen the other guy. I've seen Cleve around a lot. These guys are all still very active in community here. So it's not like it's ancient history. But oh, and one more thing I'll add to this video before I actually attempt to review 8 hours. The guy who plays Michael in Empire, remember the Spanish guy plays his boyfriend, who I thought was so gorgeous and so fine. He came up to me and I said, "Hey, you're that guy." And he touched me right here. I'm not gonna ever wash his elbow again. I'm not gonna ever wash it. He touched me right here. He did like that. He squeezed it a couple times. I said, "Oh." So he has a role in there also. He plays one of Cleve's early lovers. Unfortunately, well, I'm not going to give a lot of spoilers here. I want us all to watch this, and because it is our history. But he's in there, and then they've got Rosie O'Donnell's in there, Whoopi Goldberg's in there. What are the other celebrities? All of them. I mean, the one that plays Cleve's father is actually what's the gay guy? He's well, I don't have his name. His name slipped my mind, but he's a popular actor on one of those television series kind of things. But lots of celebrities in there. People playing just regular roles, being a part of the thing and not being stars, not taking over the performances. You know, they just all wanted to be a part of it. So it's beautiful. So watch it. Starts on Monday next week on ABC. So even if you don't have cable, you can still see it. I think it's great. All right. So I'll come back probably and talk about this again at some point. It's worth reviewing. Later.